The time is just gone 9:36 a.m. as we continue with the broadcast this morning, right here on Salam Media. Now, we know right across the entire world, Palestinian symbols, Palestinian colors, Palestinian kafiyas, all of them are very, very contentious issues, and particularly looking at sporting events as well. But South Africa, who would have thought it would be a different situation here in South Africa, considering where we are, considering the government of South Africa. We've learned of the vote that was taken to obviously close down the Israeli embassy. And we feel that the ruling party as well has been very, very sympathetic to the Palestinian cause. But who would have thought that Moses Mabhida Stadium, where we would find someone who would be, whose Palestinian flag would be confiscated, been asked to remove his kafia as well. And we're talking of none other than the Honorable Christian priest, and his flag was confiscated. And we're talking about the Reverend Nthuthuko Nkosi, who is with us on the line right now. Reverend, good morning to you, sir, and welcome to the show.
Good morning to you, my brother, and good morning to all your viewers. Thank you for having us.
Well, who would have thought? Because I think you and I met in Durban, and after that, you were at the Moses Mabhida Stadium, and then you had then attended the event at the stadium, the soccer match, and you went in there proudly displaying the Palestinian flag, the kufiyah as well, and you were then told by security that you had to basically remove, and they've basically taken away your flag and your kufiyah.
Who would have thought, my brother and the viewers, that in this kind of a democracy that you are having as South Africa, and as well as the struggles that we've had in the past of apartheid, and the assistance that we got from Palestine, not only in rhetoric, Nelson Mandela would say, the former president, but even with arms, that this kind of a democracy, a Palestinian flag and a kofia would be deemed as symbols that incite violence. Who would have thought that after so much fighting in the struggle against any kind of supremacy, we will still have Palestinian flags and kofia and be deemed as inciting violence. And for me, that was a shock. And I'm still in disbelief that in this country, my kufia was taken and my flag was confiscated in the name of inciting violence. So I'm still in shock. I'm still in disbelief. I still feel humiliated by the experience, because I've been in Israel wearing some slogans, the t-shirts I've been wearing, but I've never experienced such. And even through the checkpoints, that I've gone through, I've never experienced such. And yet I'm experiencing it in South Africa, a democratic country.
Well, clearly, and also there is a disconnect somewhere along the line, Reverend, because you mentioned that you were treated like a thug and a criminal by police officers, and it is clear that there is a disconnect between what the country stands for, what the country's position on Palestine is, and the law enforcement authorities like the police services.
Exactly, and it's amazing that it took place immediately after our country, as a ambassador from Tel Aviv, and completely took a stand through our president Cyril Ramaphosa, and with a firm statement that he passed through. And I don't know this disconnect, whether it's ignorance. I don't know whether it's the work of the Zionists. I don't know where is the pulse where I can put my finger and say this is what it is. But I don't know whether it's the rules of CAF. I don't know whether it's the rules of the stadium. But what I know, the country has taken a position. And we can't today, when we are a free country, through the aid of Palestinians, and deem their symbols inciting violence. For me, that disconnect is atrocious. That disconnect we should reject with the contempt it deserves. We should not allow such disconnect. We should not allow such mistakes if it is a mistake. They should not find a room because they send wrong messages about South Africans. South Africans are ungrateful. They were assisted by us when they were oppressed. Now then, they are free. They can't assist us. It sends so many wrong messages, and we should reject such mistakes and disconnections.
Well, and also I think what is important to understand is when one recalls what had taken place between Russia and Ukraine and the entire world, and when one looks at FIFA, when one looks at world sporting bodies openly displaying, solidarity with the people of Ukraine, we've seen it right across the entire world at all major sporting events as well. And yet, when it comes to the Palestinian cause, we find a totally different picture emerging. We see the hypocrisy and the selective morality of these organizations. Even if this match at Moses Mabhida was held under the auspices of FIFA or CAF or whatever it is, but we just see that, we see this selective morality when it comes to the people of Palestine.
Unfortunately, we live in a times when I do my personal analysis of normalization, the times of normalization, the pain, normalizing the pain of Arab people. Throughout the years, a 15-year-old has seen the pain of Iraqis, the pain of Syrian people, the pain of Yemenis, the pain of Palestinians, and that crippled into politics that it is as long as it's not white Europeans, it's okay. As long as it's the second class citizens of the world where everyone wants to have wars in the Middle East and they don't want to have wars in their backyard. So it perpetuates that normalization, that the justice and the peace and the policies have eyes, and the eyes of the justice systems and policies of these global agencies can only see white people, can only see European people, and it does not see people of Arab nations, does not see Palestinians. That's why you can have Ukraine all over TV stations, all over sporting codes, all over everything, people being in solidarity with what was happening in Ukraine, and you cannot have such with Palestine. You cannot have such with DRC Congo in Africa. You cannot have such with other countries that are going through such thing, especially with the issue of Gaza. We can't even call Gaza genocide. Why? Because people are conflicted. They don't want to stand in the truth, yet they can name and label what was happening in Ukraine. And all sporting codes, football, the English Premiership, under FIFA, had the flag of Ukraine in our screens, and even their armbands at one stage changed into a flag of Ukraine. So we can't be in this democracy that has eyes, that is selective, as you are putting it, my brother, that sees only Europeans and does not see other human beings around the world.
Yes, and also I think you made this point where you speak about the Palestinian flag, reminding us that we were once occupied by an apartheid regime. And this is exactly why when one looks at Palestinians, they look at us as South Africans, they appreciate our struggle. But on your side, you are demanding a public apology, Reverend. Reverend, I think we've lost you a bit. If you could unmute your mic, please. I think your mic is muted. Yes, I think we have lost. We see he is traveling. He is in the vehicle, but I think at the end of the day, he is demanding a public apology from CAF and also the local security company at the stadium that confiscated his flag during the game, as well as from the police. And what the Reverend is also saying is law enforcement is a custodian of protecting citizens' rights and freedom. However, I believe in this instance, my freedom was taken from me to publicly support an oppressed country that is currently living through an atrocious genocide being carried out by the illegitimate state of Israel. And this was the sentiment that was expressed by the Reverend Nkosi. We're going to have to leave it at that. Unfortunately, we cannot reach him again. He is traveling, so possibly there is a loss of signal. There is a loss of connection. The time is just gone 9:46. We're going to go for a break. We'll be back and we will wind down with the final interview this morning.